Hey everybody. So in today's video, we're going to talk about some of the newer rare heroes that have really kind of impressed me with some of their special skills. They're not like super new now. Uh, Trying to get out stuff as I can, but it's a little challenging right now. So having said that, um, there's some really good rares that just got released. So we're going to go through some of those and the ones that are my personal standouts and how I would gear them or what I would use them for. So let's get started. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with some of these new heroes. There are 6 of them that we're going to talk about today. You'll have to kind of pardon me if I do not pronounce them correctly. But the first one that I want to talk about is Bergvid. I am in love with him right now. So he gains taunt and reflect, which is it's showing you like the maxed ability from the lexicon. But taunt heroes are some of my favorites. I love them, especially for war or against the raid boss and arena, of course. So resistance is increased for every 15% missing health point. And then, of course, at the end, it does show the mana gain is increased by 1. So I think that he is going to be a really solid hero for war specifically. Getting a solid taunt hero on a rare team is really going to be great. You can see here where his leader ability. Now for him, I would really focus on trying to get defense, health point, and speed up are the 3 things that I would personally focus on him whenever putting on artifacts. You want him fast, and you want him really stout, because he does have that taunt. So, but a good taunt hero is pretty awesome. So, Bergvid is one of the new rares that really stood out to me. And let's move on to the next one. Okay, so next up we have Gunvic. You're going to notice a little trend here in a couple of the heroes that I picked out. So Godric is in the same family with Bergvid, and for him, he recovers 15% health, this is the maxed one, gains taunt for 3 turns, and gains increased resistance for 3 turns. That is solid. So you're going to have a hero that is going to basically heal themselves a little bit and then have taunt and increased resistance. So that combination is really tanky, and I love it a lot. Defense is increased and resistance is increased if below 30% health. So if his health point goes below that 30% mark, you're going to gain defense and health points. Resistance. I think that's like ultimate tanky. So I think he's going to be a really great hero again for war or potentially arena. I would gear him pretty much similarly to how I would gear Bergvid. You're going to want speed, and then defense and health point, and then his resistance increases as well. So focusing on those items to really get a fast, solid, tanky tank, just ultimate tank. So he is the second hero that I wanted to talk about today. And next up, we're going to talk about Godric. All right, so moving on to the third hero in the same family, Godric. I am so pumped about Godric. So he deals damage to a single enemy based on his defense. That's maxed out, so it's 270% defense, and gains taunt for 3 turns. That is a killer combination. And then as passive, he recovers 15% of health point at the start of his turn, and defense is increased by 20%. Again, that's the maxed amount. This is just a really solid, well organized special and passive. They really work well together. So any hero that you have with taunt on, you're going to want to have really strong defense on them anyway. So putting artifacts on him that are really defense heavy, and then of course having speed on there as well. Not only is it going to make his his damage increase, but it's also going to make him more of a stout taunt hero. So that combination can be really brutal in wars, especially. He's one of the next ones I have that's going to be going up all the way. So definitely go heavy defense percent on those. I'd recommend on the gloves and then the chest piece, and then speed boots to really make him fast so he can hit hard and he can take a lot of damage. I'm excited about him for sure. So next up we have L'Oreal. Now, L'Oreal is one of the heroes that you can choose whenever you are in the beginning of the game, like when you're going through the tutorial. She's one of the heroes you can choose there. I really think that when you first look at her, she's kind of underwhelming. Like, her attack is pretty low, and she's just sort of like meh whenever you look at her special ability. But what really makes her interesting to me is that her special and her passive work very well together. She has a 100% chance to use her special ability twice. So she's fast to start with, but then if you make her really fast and then you put good attack gear on her, like attack and crit, she can really wreck house because she's going to fire twice every single time. I don't know. I think that's awesome. I love heroes that can fire twice. So if you build her well and her attack is strong enough that the damage is really going to be there, and then she fires twice and she's very fast, you can really go for it with her. So I think that she's a solid hero to choose. Any hero that fires twice is pretty high on my list of awesomeness. So for those who are going through the tutorial, she is a really good one to start with. All right, so next up is a hero that I'm really, really, really excited about. I love using him so far. I've actually maxed him out on Lila, my main one, Arcanus. Now, I really like him specifically for the green raid boss, so we'll go into that more here in just a second. But he deals burn on all enemies for 1 turn 2 times, and then he deals damage that's 200% attack. Now, that's maxed out. And I really, really love his passive specifically. So his damage is increased by 8% for every negative status affecting an enemy. Attack increased by 20%. That is maxed out again. Now, what I have found to be the most useful with him and what I'm really, really loving is I paired him with Lurker on the green raid boss and Eldred, because he's kind of like a weird combination of both of those. So with Lurker, his damage increases based on how many burn statuses are on the opponent. So paired together with kind of the 3 of them, so Arcanus, Lurker, and Eldred, you can deal a lot of damage, and it is fantastic. I'm loving him. I've fully maxed him out on Lilareem, not mad about it at all. So that's just how I personally use him. I made sure that his accuracy was really high. I did focus a little bit on attack because you want to have that attack damage as well. But the way that I'm using him personally is that I made sure that his accuracy was really, really high to land those burns to pair with Lurker on the green raid boss. So that's how I use Arcanus personally. All right, so last but not least, we have Obrad. He's in the same family as Arcanus, and I really like what he can offer. So with him, he removes a positive status from all enemies, and then he has a 100% chance to inflict decreased defense on all enemies for 3 turns. Now, I have a slight obsession with any hero that deals defense down and also is a debuffer. So for me, I'm really excited because he offers both of those things. He does gain mana for every negative status that he inflicts. I think that's pretty cool. So if you have the defense down that lands, his mana is going to regenerate at that point. So I find him to be a really solid support hero that could be used. His accuracy does need to be high so that he can both debuff and land that defense down. I think as far as like synergy that you're looking for within your team, he's going to be a really great hero that you could have with that. I did also build mine with a lot of health point and defense just to kind of keep him alive with his accuracy so that he can land that defense down and strip positive statuses from the opponent. So that was the last hero that I'm really excited about that was released. I think it's really fantastic that we're having a lot of rare heroes come out. I think that it has the ability to diversify kind of what you're seeing in those top players, especially with war. So that's all I really have today. Thank you guys so much for checking us out, and we'll talk to you soon.